Hey there in YouTube land. They can be beautiful, they can be deadly. They can steal your heart, but you're never quite sure how they're going to take it. And the women of horror are what we're going to talk about here tonight in my extended Halloween month Women of Horror video. And we're going to start with Barbara Steele. Barbara Steele was an English actress that became more popular once she became a scream queen over in Italy. She had a very kind of like unique look to her, and when I saw her in these movies where she's got the dark hair and the very beautiful eyes, just an exotic look to her, I honestly did not know or think that Barbara Steele was an English actress. I thought she was obviously Italian, like Sophia Loren or girls like that, because she has that kind of like look that fits so well in there. And she did such an amazing job in these movies. This is one of my favorites, actually, Black Sunday. If you haven't seen this one, it's a really fantastic Margot Kidder film. This is definitely the definitive version of this film to get. There's a lot of films that she did for people like Bava, and even later on in years. Barbara Steele will go on to be in the remake series done back in the 90s of Dark Shadows, where she got to play the doctor. I think it's Hoffman. Hoffman? Is it Hoffman or Hoffman's the guy? I'm not sure. I'm not looking that one up though, guys. But she was always one of my favorites. She had my heart from very young, when I was a kid. Loved Barbara Steele and everything she did. Another one of the, I guess you could call her one of the greats, or one of the most well known for what she did, if I can actually get it out here, is an actress that I don't think she did any other, or if she did, I think it was only one other horror movie or actual movie that I can think of. I honestly don't know a lot about the actress, but she haunted me as much as her film was haunting her. And that is, of course, Candace Hill from Carnival of Souls. And if have you seen Carnival of Souls, she pretty much is the centerpiece behind this film. It's a film that honestly probably could have been done almost like a Twilight Zone type of thing. But it has such amazing visuals, and she does such a great job in the performance of the what's it, an organ player? Yeah, she plays the church organ. She's going to this town to play an organ for this church, and there's a little accident, and well, see it. Really, you should. This is a fantastic movie. Carnival of Souls. I really need the Criterion of this one. I've got the crappy alpha version, which gives me a really nice picture and a really nice cover. And really shitty quality. That's what alpha does. Next up is another one of the greats, and that is Sissy Spacek. Would I call her a scream queen as much? I'm not sure if we'll go with the word scream queen for Sissy Spacek, but she's definitely one of the great women of horror. The role Carrie was pretty much, this was meant for her. She did such an amazing job. Her and Piper Laurie too. It was incredible in this film, by the way. This is one of Brian De Palma's greats. And Sissy Spacek, just before this, had been basically dragging sets for Phantom of Paradise, which was what he did. Which was what he did before this one. And from like dragging her in sets to like starring in this. Now this wasn't like her first Sterling movie, or this wasn't like the only thing she'd done. She'd done Terrence Malick's Badlands with the Martin Sheen, which is a fabulous film. And if you ever get a chance to check that one out, it's one of the must-have criterions. I personally got to get it myself. It's just an amazing film, a great character study, much along the lines of Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway's Bonnie and Clyde. Relatives of mine. We're getting into the 80s almost, but we have a few more 70s to go yet. And that is there's two in this one. We get Olivia Hussey, who had just come off of Romeo and Juliet, and Margot Kidder, who was just amazing. She steals this movie away. I mean, Olivia Hussey is beautiful and perfect for the exact scream queen role that she has to do. But Margot Kidder steals this movie. She is hilarious. She is vibrant. She is everything that a young man will fall in love with when he watches this film. And seriously, just watch this. She is an amazing actress. And it is such a shame that the personal demons that she had to go through to get where she got, the different addictions that Margot Kidder. But still, she melts my heart, and I love Margot Kidder in this one and in Sisters, and she can be crazy as she wants to be. She's always my Margot. Here's the 2-for-1. Same actress, different movies, but I wanted to show both of these because I really like this actress, and honestly, one of these movies doesn't get a lot of talk, while the other one, yeah, the other one gets a lot of talk. And it's Marilyn Burns, of course, in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and also in Eaten Alive, 2 movies by Tobe Hooper. Now, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a genuine classic. Eaten Alive is a movie that was forgotten because it came right after a genuine classic. But it's a very good movie, and if you've had a chance to check this one out, then you know what I'm talking about. Neville Brand does an amazing job in this film. Marilyn Burns is the every woman scream queen, woman of art. She looks normal. She's beautiful. She's almost girl next door-ish, flower child. But when Marilyn Burns is terrified, nobody does it better. The horror in her eyes when you're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it is literally chilling because she does that good of a job. Now, there was a lot of stuff going on during the film, and she was in certain pain during some of these sequences, as were a lot of the actors, the guys and girls. But her portrayal is pretty much downplayed a lot. People don't talk about they talk about some movies, and they'll talk about, like, what a classic it was, and they'll talk about the visuals, and they'll talk about the walking to the house sequence with the jean cutoff shorts, and they'll mention her eye sequence. But she's all throughout this movie, she just does such an amazing job of growing the terror that grows within her until it gets to this almost insanely operatic proportion. And if you like her there, check her out with William Finley from Phantom of the Paradise and Eaten Alive. One of my personal favorites, and one that did a lot of giallos, also did my favorite giallo, and it's not an Argento film, too, surprisingly enough. It's a Sergio Martino film, and if you know what I'm going to say right now, you are cool, because it's Torso, and Susie Kendall. Susie Kendall was amazing. I saw this movie when I was extremely young. I think it was about like 8 or 9 when the first time I saw this film. And its ending of this is terrifying. Now, Kendall had been in like a few different things, like The Bird with Crystal Plumage and stuff like that. But Torso was always kind of you really want to see Susie Kendall. Well, not see Susie Kendall, like in that way. There's other cello movies to see Susie Kendall in if you're looking for that type of seeing. But to see her at her best and her most terrifyingly terrified, you gotta watch Torso. This is the one where it's the only thing scarier than the first 15 minutes or the last 20 or something like that. And it's true. They do a really good job with this. The actress is amazing. The hook at the end of this one, oh man. You've got a girl stuck in a house with a killer. The killer doesn't know she's there. He's pretty much I gotta revisit this one really, really soon. This is gonna be one of my reviews. Next up, and I actually had to look on the back because I don't remember the actress's name, but I remember that I liked her a lot in the film. And that is from Last House on the Left. So see that? That's not her. That's some model chosen for the cover to make this look more up to date. This is the classic Wes Craven, Sean Cunningham Last House on the Left film. A lot of people find this one kind of hard to watch, and I can kind of understand that. But it is a film that deserves to be watched. It needs to be watched. It's a classic in the horror genre, and it's not as exploitive as you would think. But my better half thinks otherwise. But Sandra Castle and Lucy Grantham did an amazing job as the 2 teenagers that are doomed in the original Last House on the Left. can't remember the actress from the remake, but the remake was also extremely good in a more cheesy way. Next one I dare you to not fall in love with when you watch her in something. And it's Jessica Harper from Suspiria. She also played Janet in Shock Treatment. And my good friend TJ, one of his favorite movies, Phantom of the Paradise. Well, she also actually stars in that one as well as the character of Phoenix. Now, Suspiria is like almost like a fairy tale horror film. Which, you know, I really got to review this one as well. But Jessica Harper's, from the first sequence to the very end of this film, she is just engagingly entrancing. She's amazing in this film. And Jessica Harper would continue to have that type of, like, kind of earthy feel to it. And Argento would use other actresses to kind of really, that would really capture that same type of a feel and look that Jessica Harper had in this one. And one of them would be his own daughter, and we'll get to her later. Next up is, yep, good old Jamie Lee Curtis herself, who did actually a few of these before she retired from the Scream Queen films for years. I mean, like she did Terror Train, Halloween, Halloween 2, Prom Night, and you know she pretty much went on and did Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Retired from doing horror films and wouldn't go back again until she did H2O, and pretty much stayed out of that and didn't do any conventions or anything until not too long ago when she did a convention, and she did it for basically for one of her charities. And a lot of people thought going in that she was going to be kind of this diva type character, when in actuality she was amazing. She was like incredible to the fans. She stayed and signed everything. Like hours after that, the event had pretty much ended. Like most people go to an event. If you've ever been to a convention, you know they'll be there for a couple hours. And you'll wait, and if you can get in that line and they'll sign it within a couple hours, then great. If not, you come back when they do the next signing. Jamie Lee Curtis didn't do that. She stayed and signed everybody's thing. And just think, this is Jamie Lee Curtis at a convention. The only convention that she's been at. Can you imagine how many people are out there waiting to get Jamie Lee Curtis' autograph at this point? Yeah. And she is that incredible. And if you're a really big fan of Jamie Lee Curtis, and of course, you've seen True Lies with the awkward strip scene, or Perfect with the not-so-awkward aerobics, or Trading Places with... If you were a young boy when Trading Places came out, I don't have to tell you the highlight of watching Trading Places. We all know the highlight of watching Trading Places. Thank you, Jamie Lee Curtis. You brought me into manhood. Next up is the everly reluctant, tortured on and off the screen, pity her like anything Scream Queen. And it's, oh man, I really felt bad for her in this movie. I mean, really, really bad. Shelley Duvall in The Shining. She did not get treated good in this film. Stanley Kubrick treated her like crap. He didn't even want her. But it plays well for her role. You know, the girl that go on to play Olive Oyl and do all those like fairy tale theater type things. That makes an amazingly like vulnerable Wendy. She screams. If there ever wasn't the epitome of Scream Queen, yeah, Shelley Duvall, you're it. And you know what? Be proud of what you did and survived it and came out and gave us an amazing performance with a movie that should not have been good, because basically it's not a good adaptation of the book. It's a horrible adaptation of the book. I love the movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I love this movie, but it is a horrible adaptation of the Stephen King novel. It is a good movie on its own. There are some amazing visuals in this film. There's some great performances. Do you know who does the best performance in this? It's Shelley Duvall. Her performance is nervous and layered and stuff. You know who doesn't do the best performance in this? He does an entertaining performance, and that's Jack Nicholson. Because Jack Torrance is a character that goes crazy. And it's a shocking thing when Jack Torrance goes crazy and goes nuts on his family. You know what? It's not shocking at all when you see Jack Nicholson go crazy, because from the very first scene of this movie, he's got crazy written all over him. There's none of this, wow, I wonder how this normal guy is going to, like, lose it. No, he looks like he's lost it from scene one. He is not a normal guy. Jack, I'm sorry. Love you. You're the amazing, you are my Joker. But, and you do a great job in this movie, but it's a very Jack Nicholson type of role. A very Jack Nicholson type of role. Shelley Duvall, be proud. You did an amazing job. Next up is Natasha Kinski. And, of course, she was doing horror movies right from the beginning. When she was young, she was actually had her, I think, a nude scene back when she was like 15 years old into The Devil a Daughter with Christopher Lee, Hammer film. Kinski would go on to be in like movies like Cat People, and she's kind of like that first like exotic girl that you fall for. And for me anyway, she was that exotic different girl that I really I wanted living next door to me. But there was another Scream Queen sort of in this one. There's another girl that actually went on to do not so much the Scream Queen stuff, but she wasn't really good in this film. That's Annette O'Toole. Most people know her now as the mom in Smallville, or if you're a little older, maybe you know her as Lana in the Superman series, the original Superman ones with Christopher Reeves. But she's actually one of the stars of this movie here, and has an interesting scene, which you got to check out. Of all the actresses that did the nude scenes in the movies, here's one that went in the absolute opposite direction of what you would expect. Traci Lords would become a pretty cool Scream Queen, but you didn't go to watch a Traci Lords movie of this type to see her naked, because you weren't going to see it. You know, she wore like skimpy clothes and stuff like that, and she did an amazing job in the role she did, like here. But Traci Lords started her career naked. She started as an X-rated film star back before she was legal. So when I was underage watching these adult films like every teenage boy did back in the day, I was actually watching one of my peers. So those movies are no longer available, so don't go looking for them. They've long been taken off. But Traci Lords is amazing. I love her, and of course, I loved her in Profiler, where she was Jane, the killer, who was the big killer. Well, if you haven't seen Profiler, check it out. It's actually a pretty good show. I had so many dreams and fantasies about this woman. It is unbelievable. Howling 2. I love this movie. And why do I love this movie? Is it a good movie? No, it's a horrible movie. It stars Reb Brown, and Reb Brown can't act. I'm sorry. He can't. Chris really looks like he's embarrassed to be in the film. There's a good reason for that. Chris really is embarrassed to be in the film. But, Sybil Danning. How important is Sybil Danning to this movie? There's a sequence in the movie during a ritual where Sybil Danning rips open her shirt. And Sybil Danning is known for having amazing breasts. So at the end of the movie, because the movie's really short, they show kind of a music video with clips from the film. And they keep showing her ripping open her shirt. I don't know, it must have been like 17 times. That's all they had. That was it. That was the best part of their film. Needless to say, this movie rented really well when I was a kid. It was always out. You could never find this one in a VHS store, because as soon as like one kid knew, all the kids knew. And when you're a kid and you're watching VHS and you're like a young boy and you want to see a girl and stuff for the first time, because you know this is the only way you're seeing a girl at this point, you're rewinding and stuff. No rewinding needed. It just shows it over and over again at the end of the film. Gotta love that. But Sybil Danning did some amazing stuff. Sybil Danning acted in a lot of these type of films. One of my favorites she did was called They're Playing with Fire. It's kind of like a some murder mystery. They try to make it kind of giallo-ish. It may not be as good as I remember, but when I was a kid, I remember it as being pretty damn good. I really liked it. The next one, and more kind of an unusual actress, but Linnea Quigley. Of course, she did a much bigger part for the movie, and I also have it over there, Night of the Demons. But Return of the Living Dead is where she got her start, where she played what was her character's name? Trash or something like that. Basically, she's a kind of a punk girl in this one, and she dances naked on top of a tombstone. It was the 80s, guys. Punk music and naked girls on tombstones and zombies. This may be one of my favorite movies of all time. And this actually is one of my favorite movie editions of all time. This is fantastic. It's the second sight edition with the documentaries. Pick it up, guys. Really, if you don't have this one yet, seriously pick it up. Linnea Quigley did a lot of these. She did Sorority Babes and Slimeball Bolorama. She did the Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. I think she was in that one with Michelle Bauer. Was also another big one. Brink Stevens was another one that acted in a lot of these movies. And all favorites of mine. Brink Stevens especially. Brink Stevens got her start actually in the first Slumber Party Massacre film. She's actually the first victim. She would go on to do a lot. I mean, like a ton of horror movies, and she still does them today. But I always remember her from that first movie, and kind of she kind of gets pulled in the van. Now, Scream 2 did a kind of a tribute to that when they kill off one of their main characters, Randy, who actually kind of gets pulled in the van, just the same way Brink Stevens did in Slumber Party Massacre, the original. Check that out. It's a little known trivia fact. Now let's get to some of the newer people. One of the youngest ones, and I guess she's kind of coming in around. I'm not sure how old she is now. Maybe 18, I'm not sure. She's young anyway. Beautiful young lady. She's going to be a beautiful woman when she gets like older. And that's Chloe Grace Moretz, who of course in this one is playing the role of Carrie, and it's the first actress to play Carrie that is actually a teenager. The other actresses that played her, Angela Bettis from May, and Sissy Spacek, were both in their 20s when they played the role of Carrie. Angela Bettis really doesn't look like she's a teenager. But Chloe Grace Moretz does an amazing job in this. Julianne Moore is fantastic in this as well. Julianne Moore has horror cred from, of course, making the movie Hannibal, where she stepped in for Jodie Foster to do the role of what the hell is that character's name? Clarice, yes, that's it. Next up is a newer horror scream queen, and I think she's going to do really well. She is one of the sweetest girls that I've ever met at any convention, ever. And I don't know, she came up and she hugged me, and she was genuinely nice. There's convention talk, which you see a lot, and there's talking. And Diane Foster was someone that talked. I told her, I was a big fan, that I'd followed the movie since its inception, and she was genuinely touched and actually gave me a huge hug, and I never forgot that hug because it was really unexpected and really nice, a very nice girl. And the movie is Orphan Killer. So guys, if you haven't picked this one up yet, it's actually a pretty cool slasher film. She does, carry this movie. She does a great sequence, and since we're going with the nude scene, yes, guys, she does get a shower scene in this one. That's very, very well done and very memorable. But she's a great actress, and she does an amazing job in the role. And that's the thing. A scream queen can come and go. There are a lot, but there has to be something. They have to have some. They can't just be pretty. There has to be something, some kind of it factor that makes them last. Like Jamie Lee Curtis didn't last from doing Prom Night and all those movies because Jamie Lee Curtis was just attractive and had nice breasts. Jamie Lee Curtis did good in the movie because Jamie Lee Curtis could act well in these films. And that's the difference between somebody that lasts longer, like say like Joe Sholin or Jamie Lee Curtis or Diane Foster, people like that. as opposed to someone who you got to look on the back and kind of like, oh, who's that girl again? She looked really cute. And that's the difference between some of the Scream Queens. Next up is one of my faves. And it is, this is one of my favorite movies that she's in, actually. It's Asia Argento, Steinau Syndrome. This is not an easy movie to watch for some people. There's a rape sequence in this one here that's pretty, well then again, there has to be. It's like a murder rapist character. And she's like this kind of a cop who's kind of on the hunt for him, but he kind of attacks her. It's a really unique film. Honestly, if you can last from the harder sequence, this really, really is worth watching. But Stendhal syndrome is an actual thing. People that actually look at paintings and just it overwhelms them, the colors and it's really well represented in this film. The twist on this is actually pretty cool. They had been going to follow this up, but unfortunately they didn't. I really wish they would have followed this movie up. Just such an incredible job, and Asia does amazing in this. This would not be Asia's only movie for Argento. She did a few, and I've always wondered, it's got to be some kind of awkward relationship thing when you got to film your daughter in those scenes. I always wondered if maybe Argento used like a second unit director for like the scenes like that, because I don't know. Well, one, I don't know how I'd go. One, if you're filming your daughter in like a scene, in a violent scene or like a rape scene or something like that, one, could you detach yourself enough to do it? But then there's the other side of like, if it's something that's that personal and that hard of a scene to do, maybe you want to be the one that does it so that it's done right and she's treated well. So there's two ways to see that. It's a hard one. Next up is one of the biggest flirts of horror movie history from everything I've seen from her afterwards. And I love this actress. She does a really cool job in this movie. She's done like other movies afterwards, and I always said if I ever make another film, I'm putting her in it because I just was such a big fan of hers. And I think, when I did get to speak with her, that's one of the things I said. When I write something else, I'm going to put you in it. And it's Felissa Rose from A Sleepaway Camp. She played the character of Angela Baker. And Angela Baker is a shy, young girl. Now, that being said, have you seen Felissa Rose now? She's stunning. I mean, she grew up well. But this movie this is one of my favorites. A Sleepaway Camp it has a really different ending. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but Angela, you'll always remember Angela. That being said, I also love Pamela Springsteen that took over the role of Angela in Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. She did an amazing job, and yes, that Springsteen does mean Bruce's actual sister. Pamela Springsteen was an actress before she moved into doing photography. She's Bruce Springsteen's sister, and she's in parts 2 and 3. But Felissa Rose is the original. Unfortunately, she did get to come back for a movie called Return to Sleepaway Camp. Guys, that movie's not good. And Felissa Rose is wasted on it. She's turned out to be an amazingly beautiful woman. And you ain't going to see it in Return to Sleepaway Camp in any way. Or even any of her actual acting ability, because it's wasted in the movie Return to Sleepaway Camp. Next up is one of my favorites. And back in the 80s again. And it's Joe Sholin. Now, Joe Sholin did a lot of stuff. She did from Phantom of the Opera. I think she was in Cutting Class. She did the movie Cutting Class, by the way, is Brad Pitt movie, early one. And she was in Stepfather, one of my favorites of all time. I don't have it, actually. It's the one Blu-ray that I really want that I haven't been able to find yet. I found a DVD copy of that one, Stepfather and Stepmother 2, when I was in Morocco, in Marrakesh, but it was only in French. I like this movie. I cannot wait till Scream Factory puts this on Blu-ray. So they are doing it in early next year, I think. So I'm looking forward to this one. One of my favorite Scream Factory, actually two of my favorite Scream Factory Blu-rays come out next month, I think, or late this month. They're finally putting Nightbreed with Craig Schaefer. And Craig Schaefer was an actor that I really liked. to like go on a slight tangent. I read a lot of the S.E. Hinton books when I was a kid, and S.E. Hinton did like The Outsiders and all those books like that, like young teen books. But one of them, that was Then This Is Now, was one that I read over and over again. The movie was didn't even touch it in quality wise, but Craig Schaefer was in that, and I did watch the movie because of that. Anyway, Shohola, watch her. She's an amazing actress. She's in Popcorn, which is a really fun film with Roy Walston in it as well. We talked about The Shining, but there was another Shining, and it starred another girl that was very much the more the badass scream queen, I guess. And in this TV version of The Shining, with what's his name again? Oh, God, it's the guy from Wings. Steve Weber, playing Jack Torrance. And, he does a good job because he doesn't look crazy when the movie starts, but he gets real crazy by the time the movie ends. But Rebecca de Mornay is the scream queen of this one. Of course, she had done The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, where she got to play the crazy horror actress. But she does a great job as a Wendy, I gotta say. Do I like her as much as Shelley Duvall, though? No, I really don't. I think that she's a stronger character, and as far as like more of moving women forward in films and stuff like that, yes, she's great, and she's more attractive than probably Shelley Duvall was, although I found Shelley Duvall oddly attractive. Rebecca de Mornay does a good job as Wendy. It's just, I don't know, my Wendy is always going to be Shelley Duvall. I am what I am. This is a movie I originally planned to show you for the Asia Argento, Mother of Tears, but gotta review this one as well. She worked with, was it King Kong, I think? And went on to do this one. And Naomi Watts, is she in The Ring? Is that her? Or The Grudge, one of those? She did one of these things, I know she did. But Funny Games is one that I love, and I really got to rewatch again. It's been a long time since I saw it. It was one of these movies that made me angry. It's a remake that is actually a really good remake. I pretty much put down par with the original. Great movie, Tim Roth, Naomi Watts, and Naomi Watts kind of helps carry this film. And there's a scene in this movie that will make you scream. But I'm not going to give anything away. I'm just going to say this. If you've seen Funny Games and you know what I'm holding up, you know exactly the scene that I'm talking about. She rocks in this movie. I love Naomi Watts. I'm going to leave my favorite for last. Over the years, this series has brought us some greats. In 2 especially, we got see if I can't remember her name. It's totally going to go. Meg Tilly, who, sister Jennifer Tilly in the Chucky films. Of course, she's the bride of Chucky. And, of course, in part 4, well, not part 4, but in Bates Motel, we got Lori Petty, who would be in Tank Girl. I can't remember who's in part 4. It's a Canadian actress, actually. I know that Olivia Hussey is in this one. Yeah, Olivia Hussey plays the, who played in the original Black Christmas, is the mom of Norman Bates in Psycho 4, when they do like the backstory. But in Psycho 3, don't remember. I like the actress. She's a Canadian actress. She was on a couple Canadian TV shows, but I can't remember who she is. And I don't want to look her up right now, because I'm way into this video, and we ain't going back. This is it. Kelly Reilly in Eden Lake will break your heart. She just does an amazing job, and this movie is terrifying to watch. It's so realistically done. It's such an amazing film, and if you haven't seen it, you owe it to yourself to watch Eden Lake. I know, I'm not going to lie to you, this is brutal. It's realistic and it's brutal, and the ending will make you swear, but you will be happy that you watched the movie. that being said, my better half, who doesn't like horror a lot, but does manage to watch some with me, I'm probably not going to have her watch Eden Lake with me because I know that would affect her. When I watched Eden Lake, it affected me for weeks. So, yeah. Next up is one of my favorites, and of all the modern day ones, she's probably one of the greats. She just stands out to me, and it's Katharine Isabelle. Of course, I first saw her in the movie Ginger Snaps, which I have over there. It's a great, great film. And recently, she did an amazing movie called American Mary, from the Spacek sisters. And also, the Spacek sisters decided to use her again when they made the sequel to the WWE horror film, See No Evil, and See No Evil 2. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Katharine Isabelle was in, of course, Freddy vs. Jason. I won't hold that against her. I hate that movie. But she had like a small scene that, and then she has a nude scene. It's not Katharine Isabelle, guys. Don't get excited. You have a stand-in, and it's such an obvious. It's like probably the most obvious stand-in that this is not the girl that I've seen in movies with them, like, actually, those scenes when you take a dummy when somebody falls out a window and all of a sudden you see this dummy and they're going like that. Yeah, that's how obvious that this is not Katharine Isabelle, that scene is. But American Mary, I want to rewatch. I'm going to be reviewing this one as well. I love this movie. Dark, bloody sequel maybe? Who knows? But I wanted to leave my favorite for last. And I love this actress. She'd made 2 of these movies and she was done, she said. And I can get it, and I understand, but of course she was in Chernobyl Diaries and that, but this character is so good. I mean, this character is so good. It's like the Jamie Lee Curtis, the Sigourney Weaver, who I didn't mention, but I really like, the Carolyn Monroe of this decade. There we go. From Cold Prey. And it's, what's her name again? Ingrid Bergman. She kicks ass in this movie. I mean, Cold Prey, Fritwild actually was what I saw it under, because I saw it back before it came out, and actually on DVD. Was such an amazing film. And it was for a slasher fan, such a breath of fresh air. Like, it's a real throwback, and you really love watching it. It's just one of these that sticks with you. And you're kind of worried because it's such a good movie that you're not sure that a sequel can do it justice. And the sequel comes out and it kicks the original movie's ass. It is that damn good. The explanation for the characters is incredible. She just does an amazing job. She takes over. She is the strong, confident female character that you want to see in movies nowadays. If you are ever wondered about the final girl and will it ever change? Well, it does. This girl is the next, she is the next generation. She is the ass kicker. She's not getting saved by no guy. She does the saving. It's an incredible film. Cold Prey 2, Fritwild, which is what I prefer to call it. Actually, when my son and me saw it, we saw it under Fritwild. We didn't see it under Cold Prey. And so when we watch it, we never say Cold Prey. Only in videos like this will I say the name Cold Prey. But really, this is one. Watch it. This is fantastic. Watch this one on Halloween, during Halloween. Make this one of your 31 that you watch. And you know what? And then when you watch it, if you do the Christmas horrors like I do, make this one of your Christmas horrors as well. I love this movie. I watched this movie like over 30 times. And it's because it's just so well done. It's a throwback. What Rob Zombie, see, this is what Halloween 2 remake could have been. There's a large portion that's shot in a hospital. It's just done so well. She's just such a great actress. And at 40 minutes, I think I've talked enough about horror actresses and scream queens, and I could go on. What?
I'm surprised you forgot one.
Which one?
Savage Street.
You mean Linda Blair?
Yeah.
Yes. The one of the greats. I actually was looking at one of her movies over there, and I said, should I put that one in there? And that's not the only one that I forgot. But Linda Blair, of course, from The Exorcist, Savage Streets, which I love, was, and of course she did Exorcist 2, but we forgive her for Exorcist 2. It's not her fault. It's just a horrible, horrible movie. Another famous one from back in the day is Drew Barrymore, who you see doing a lot of normal stuff now, but this was a girl that did stuff like Firestarter and Cat's Eye. They were like Stephen King-centric horror films that were done. There are so many you can think of. There's Sigourney Weaver. She was incredible. There are a lot of the Hammer horror starlets, but I kind of wanted to give them their own thing. That's why I really didn't want to mention them here. Who did I leave out? I've left out a lot. Mary Philbin from Phantom of the Opera. Who did I leave out? I left out a lot. And I left out some on purpose because I love to see some video response to this. Tell me about your favorite female horror queens. Who do you think? Who does it for you? Who either did you grow up liking or watching as a young girl? Did you say, okay, I want to be like this girl? Or as a young boy, say, oh my God, I wish this girl lived next door to me. Type of thing, which was, for me, it was Sybil Danning. Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway, over 40 minutes, and thank you if you watched it all. There are so many that I could think of, and I'm going to stop before I think of them and go on even longer. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you're having a happy, extended Halloween month, because I'm really enjoying it. I'm going to watch a horror movie, actually, in a few minutes. But I got to do something. One more thing before that. I've got to put on the kettle because it's time for tea. Tea and horror. And that may be the name of my podcast. I'm thinking of doing one. Have a good night. And is it sweater weather for you guys yet? Because it is here.